let's look at the charts, because the charts tell the story to say, listen, this is probably the last chance you're going to get to buy these big layer one before we hit the banana zone. So this is now the start of the banana, and it should continue all into next year and through at least early next year. Now, obviously, we will see corrections en route. Obviously, I'm not always right, but let me show you what's in my head.
Macroeconomic Investor Raoul Pal's banana zone thesis is one of the most anticipated trends of 2024 in the cryptocurrency community. In his latest video update to investors, the Real Vision founder and CEO broke down why he believes the period we are in right now is the final chance for investors to buy into the major cryptocurrencies before we see prices go parabolic. The Real Vision founder and CEO envisions a period of the crypto bull market when prices will absolutely go wild, spurred by improving liquidity conditions and the lead up to the US presidential election. According to Pal, this much-awaited phase might be only weeks away. When it finally begins, Pal predicts crypto asset prices will run up so massively and suddenly that it will be almost impossible to keep up with everything happening. Although Pal can't pinpoint the exact date it will begin, he believes it will start at some point between now and September. In this video, he breaks down 7 different charts as to why Pal is predicting that the overall crypto market cap will at least quadruple before the cycle ends in 2025. Going from the current $2.2 trillion to $15 trillion after we hit the banana zone. To take full advantage of the banana zone, Pal has invested 90% of his liquid net worth into Solana, as he believes it will be the fastest horse in the crypto race. Just this week, we saw VanEck file with the SEC for the first Solana ETF in the United States. On Twitter, head of digital assets research at VanEck, Matthew Siegel, posted that they filed for a Solana ETF as they believe it is a commodity, just like Bitcoin or Ethereum. On the news, Solana shot up over 10%, and the potential approval of a Solana ETF could be a major catalyst coming for Solana later in the year, or in 2025. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video as Pal breaks down his banana zone predictions for Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin with 7 different charts. Thanks, and let's now jump in with Raoul Pal.
I know many of you are focused on the crypto market, and my last flash update was when we had that nuke down to about 120 in Solana, and I kind of steadied people and said, listen, I think the low is it. Now, subsequently, it bounced from there, then it came all the way back down, tried to retest that low, and failed, and then started bouncing again. And the point of this video, to say, when everyone's saying, when banana, when is the banana zone? I'm going to show you that I think it's coming, and I think Solana is going to lead it. And as I've urged with you, patience is required. These things don't come instantaneously, but when they come, they can be life-changing. You see, we're at that point in the 4-year cycle, just ahead of the US election, where things get very exciting. And often around the halving period, there is a pause. It's often global liquidity has paused, which has happened recently. But on a forward-looking basis, as I've explained to you in other videos, liquidity is about to surge. Liquidity is about to surge while some other very interesting things are going on. So the Solana chart is textbook perfect wedge pattern. I put this on social media. I've talked about it. It's absolutely perfect. So that was the final retest. We've had 3 tests of the lower trend line, 3 tests of the upper trend line. That is about, for me, these patterns have the highest probability of success of all patterns. Continuation, wedges, triangles, whatever you want to call them. I don't get bogged down the exact methodology, pennants. I just say everything looks like a wedge is a wedge. For me, that's a wedge. When it breaks the top, it accelerates. But now from the bottom part, this gets really interesting. Now, what is also interesting is at Global Macro Investor, we look at the volatility of asset and see when they get to very low vol assets, often they reverse and go to higher volatility. In crypto, generally, low volatility is downtrending markets and high volatility is uptrending market. So every time that Solana has got down to this 50 level in 30-day historic volatility, it's tended to reverse. This is exactly what happened yesterday. And the last 5 times it's done this, from this level, it did 109% in December in 2 months, 32% in 2 months in June, August 57% in 2 months, September 527% in 3 months, February 78% in 3 months. So it's a very powerful signal that I really, really like. Now, the same signal was actually seen on Bitcoin. The good thing about Bitcoin is we've got a longer price history. So every time we've got somewhere close to the 20% volatility, Bitcoin more mature, less volatile, has bounced massively. And again, if you look at the numbers, these bounces have led 83%, 85%, 200%, 100%, 85%, 71%. These are bloody good signals. Now, nothing is fallible, or nothing is infallible, but it puts probability on your side. The other thing that I look for is continued strength from a leader versus others. And this is crucial that you understand this is Solana versus Bitcoin. It has stair-stepped higher and higher and higher. You can see when I bought Solana, when it broke out versus Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'll show you in a sec, back in September, October last year, and then it stair-steps higher. So we're about to explode through the next level. So owning Solana should outperform owning Bitcoin. And here's the same chart versus ETH. Very similar kind of pattern. We expect once we get that kind of 0.055 level in Sol ETH, even with the ETH ETF, we should see Solana outperform. Now, we also had the news today that Van Eck have filed for a Solana ETF. That doesn't mean it's going to get approved. Some of these people have filed for years in advance. They just want to get in, get some feedback from the SEC. But we know people are going to want to go for a Solana NFT. ETH first. By the time you're watching this, within a week, we should have an ETH ETF, which should start bringing new capital flows into crypto land, and it will flow out the risk curve as always. So it goes into ETH, it'll spread into Solana, and then it will spread down the risk curve, and things like WIF or whatever it is will outperform it. That's not a trade rag, but just that's usually how it works. So I think we've got everything in place for Solana and Bitcoin. Solana to outperform ETH and Bitcoin. Also, we're about to see Ethereum break out against Bitcoin. This is an important thing. Something I've been talking about waiting for happen. It's a beautiful chart pattern. It should get to the top of the range, and then maybe it breaks out of the top of the range, and ETH gains further ground against Bitcoin and puts it a new all-time high. That has been my base case for several years now, and I think it's going to be proven out. But let's see. Right now, ETH is not my main bet. My ETH is actually all in Xcopy, Art, and Beeple NFTs. So my actual liquid tokens, Solana, because Solana is going to outperform both ETH and Bitcoin. Now, when Bitcoin starts outperforming ETH and Solana outperforms the others, that's a classic marker of altcoin season start. Here is the prior altcoin season versus this one. It's been almost immaculate in its perfection. Now, don't expect this to play out perfectly, but look what lies ahead. The banana zone. The banana zone is when all sorts of crazy stuff starts happening. Now, it's suggesting here that we can see a 10x in the entire market cap of altcoins X Ethereum. Okay, that's a lot. That's a huge move. Some of these things are going to move massively. And again, remember the thesis, don't fuck this up. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to be buying all the stupid shit your friends are telling you about. Just be careful. Keep the majority in the majors. Keep 80, 90% in the majors. Keep 10% for capturing some stuff here. Most of it you'll fail to make money on. Trust me, I've been there before. Anyway, altcoin season about to kick in. Presidential election years. It's hitting your X feed right now. You can see it's warming up. I'm filming this ahead of the presidential debate. This is the time when Bitcoin seasonally is extremely strong. So these summer months, June, July, August, then we get that kind of chop around that ahead of the election where people don't know what it means and who's going to be taxed and whatever. So people reduce risk a bit. And then after the election, whoever wins, the market continues the banana zone. That's generally the pattern. Again, don't expect it's perfection, but generally it's up and to the right from here onwards with a consolidation correction in the middle, and expect those corrections, that volatility. Expect down 35%, down 25%. They're all normal. Like on X in the last week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, people are losing their minds because the market went sideways. Guys, patient. Have a long-term view. Okay, the banana zone. So we did the Bitcoin halving zone. The boring zone is completing now. And next we go into the full banana zone. You can see the phases of the market. That's what we should be expecting to see. And that's what I'm hoping to see. That's the 2016 Bitcoin halving cycle. It's the most similar to me right now. Again, don't expect the things to play out the same, but I think it more likely plays out more like the 16-17 cycle than it does the 2021 cycle. We'll just have to see. We'll have to look when we go. But the banana zone cometh, and that is your reward. These are the bananas. That curve on the chart, that's the reward you're going to get holding on for your dear fucking life. Patience. Don't get over your ski tips. Don't use leverage. Don't FOMO into dumb shit. Keep the right assets in your portfolio. Don't go too far out the risk curve and just let it all play out. Patience is a virtue. Anyway, I just want to share that with you. Let me stop sharing my screen because I know everyone gets confused. Everyone gets nervous because look, The reality is the banana zone's funny. It's funny because it's shaped like the banana. It's phallic. It's just amusing. Markets go bananas. We all love it. We all act like ape. I get that. But I also understand fully it's everybody's hopes and dreams. So look, I take that very responsibly, and it's scary sticking my neck out this much. But I'm trying to help as many people as possible. I honestly think this space going from 2.5 trillion in crypto to 100 trillion by, let's say, 2032 is going to be the biggest, largest wealth accumulation in history, and I want everybody to come along for the ride. It won't be easy. You will f*** it up at some point, and so will I. But we'll do our best to make it there in one piece and to have made a ton of money, because it is the way to un** your future. I know there's a lot of swearing in these things, but these are effective means of communications. They're means to communicate that this is really important, how to your future, and that you need to abide by a set of rules to not get thrown off. Don't f*** this up. Those two things should be immensely powerful for you in your journey. Now, I think Solana outperformed. I think there's going to be other coins that outperform Solana, particularly big layer one. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section what you think is going to beat Solana. There's people on Twitter keep shilling me coin, and I say, well, show me the chart that's outperforming Solana and I'll listen to you. Now, a small meme coin doesn't really count, but I do think WIF has a decent chance of outperforming Solana. Now, I won't put my main money in WIF. Why? Don't fuck this up rules. Says don't do that. But there are going to be opportunities to be had.
So there's Raoul Pal's latest insights on the upcoming banana zone. As we've seen, Pal believes this is the final chance to buy into major cryptocurrencies before prices go parabolic, spurred by improving liquidity conditions and the lead up to the US presidential election. With his prediction that the overall crypto market cap will at least quadruple before the cycle ends in 2025, there's a lot to look forward to. Pal's confidence in Solana, with 90% of his liquid net worth invested, speaks volumes about his faith in its potential. The recent news about VanEck filing for a Solana ETF further highlights the growing interest and potential catalysts for Solana in the near future. Now guys, if you're watching this video, you're clearly interested in crypto. If you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It gives the latest expert predictions, any breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description to join over 60,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Anyway guys, that's all for today's video. I hope it brought you some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.